Egos. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of the show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Now get ready for liftoff.
T-minus
10, come on.
9, 8,
Countdown
7,
with me,
6,
folks.
5,
4, come on.
3, 2, 1,
Yeah.
0. Ignition.
Yeah, come on.
Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Let's do this. Come on, get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. And get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. Get up. Let's go. Welcome, show with no namers from all around the world. Great to have you with us for another exciting English adventure. We're going to learn a little bit about a lot of stuff. As always, in a 2-hour period, we go everywhere. Seriously, a little bit of comedy, some serious moments, little pronunciation, little grammar, or as I call it, structure, common mistakes, false friends, homophones, double troubles, and all with a little bit of pop culture sprinkled in. Rociado. Sprinkle, yeah, I love that word. All right, amigos, as always, if you came to play, you came to have fun, that's awesome. You are definitely going to improve your English comprehension by listening to Vaughn Radio. And if you want to take it a step further, well, then you can also improve your speaking. But that's up to you. That requires you to repeat everything you hear when you hear it. It's not so much a passive listening exercise, but an active listening and repeating exercise. I'm telling you, it's how my daughter learned English, repeating after me. No grammar, no phrasal verbs, no false friends. Although she does, I remember sometimes, and she does it now as a joke. She goes, "Dad, can I have some template milk?" Template is not warm, templado. Right? Sería warm milk. Can I have some warm milk? A template es, bueno, lo decís igual, ¿no? A template es como una plantilla, un patrón, right? A template. But again, if you just listen and you just repeat, you know, I can tell you after a year, 2 years, 3 years, now 6 with my daughter, you will definitely become more fluent, more confident. Again, I see it. I see it with my daughter. I see it with you guys. In our question of the week, you guys are always sounding more and more comfortable speaking English. And I think that's the real key. That's what you're looking for. I mean, you want to sound, okay, maybe not like a native speaker, but you also don't want your accent or your pronunciation to take away from your message, even in your own language. If you say, like 20 times in a speech, people are going to stop paying attention to your message and start paying attention to those bad habits, or call it nervousness, call it what you will. All right, folks, let's kick things off with today's Say What soundbite. Come on.
Say what?
Yes. Get up. Say what? Say what? Say what? It's your Say What soundbite here on the show with no name. This is from one of the funniest movies ever. It's a spoof. Do you know the word spoof? S-P-O-O-F. A spoof is a parody. So it's a parody of, traveling. And another flick as well, otra película. I don't want to give you too much information. But, this is probably, I would say, in the pantheon of classic comedies. And, again, especially if we're looking in the spoof or parody genre. And I love this movie. I think there was a point in my life, maybe even, now I could probably recite half of the lines in the movie. And I haven't seen it in years. Not because I don't want to see it, but because, I don't think it's appropriate for my daughter yet. But, and it's one of these movies where there are many, many puns. So it would be interesting to see how they translated those puns into English. Again, it reminds me of Mel Brooks. This is not a Mel Brooks movie, but same kind of vibes. A lot of winks, a lot of nods, a lot of double entendres, as we call them. Oh, yes, we use a lot of French in English. Double entendre. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. I don't know how my Frenchman just turned into Mr. Burns in The Simpsons, but c'est la vie. Also, folks, if you'd like to participate in our weekly speaking section, you can record a 1-minute voice note on your phone, record it, and send it to alonso@grupovon.com. This week's question: if you could go back in time and give your past self some advice, what would that advice be? A piece of advice. I mean, don't give us don't give us a list, because really the important part here is not just what the advice is, but explaining your answer, right? Explaining yourself. Keep it at around a minute and send it to us before the end of the day on Thursday. This gives me time to get it out of my email, to put it on my computer, to put it into my editing software, and make any necessary adjustments. So don't worry if it's too low. In fact, the problem usually isn't if it's too low, it's if you record it too loud. I can always make it louder. What I can't do is once the sound has saturated, ya cuando salta al rojo, it's really hard to fix that. Again, we want nothing distracting from our main message when we're speaking, when we're writing, even, the hardest kind of communication, which would be the phone. All right. So is everybody ready? Here's your totally native. It's going to be a tough one today. I'll warn you in advance. I will forewarn you, prevenir. This one's going to be tough. All right. And I hopefully, after today's show, it'll make you guys want to watch this classic movie in English. And if you've never seen it in English, you've never seen it. Again, no offense to our amazing voiceover artists. I'm talking about the fact that the originals were amazing too. That's what made the movie what it is today, a cult comedy classic. All right, so here it is. I'm going to give it to you for the first time. Remember, you'll get it a total of 4 times. Let's see if you can make some sense of it.
Loneliness, that's the bottom line. I was never happy as a child. Christmas, Ted, what does that mean to you? For me, it was a living hell. You know what it's like to fall in the mud and get kicked in the head by an iron boot.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. You're chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip, sorber.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho
Todo,
el tercer
todo.
libro de This Book is the
Todo,
Milk, que
todo.
se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso.
Y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender. Y lo sabes.
And you know it. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. You can pick it up anywhere, wherever fine books are sold. Let's see what material we're going to look at in today's Pop Quiz. Pop Quiz. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Pop Quiz, 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 quiz. Pop Quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Come on. Pop quiz, 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 quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. All right, folks, welcome to today's pop quiz. Now, it's not coming from the book we just heard the radio ad about. This book is The Shit, which is my latest book. This is coming from my first book ever, my baby. Well, hey, this was my firstborn, even before Lara. That's right, before my daughter, I gave birth to English Everywhere, Inglés en cualquier parte. It is a book with 40 chapters. Let me see how many pages that is. That is 328 pages of action-packed English. I take you to all different places in this book. I take you to the garden, one of my favorite places, a place that really soothes my soul, que me relaja a mí, el jardín. The hospital, a place I've only been to once, well, as a patient, and I do not want to go back if I don't have to. But hey, this is necessary stuff. Today, we're going to the kitchen. So for all of you who like to cook, or you consider yourself foodies, or maybe you're one of the people who, when we ask the question, what are we making tonight? Reservations. Hey, not everybody has the gift of cooking. And it's not just cooking, because, anybody can make their favorite dish, one dish, two dish, maybe make 5 dishes, let's say, that are just awesome. But there's a certain kind of survival cooking, I call it. And this is where you can take 3 random ingredients and make a delicious meal. So that is a survival skill. I consider knowing how to cook a survival skill, right? If you know how to cook, well, then you'll be able to eat good food. If not, you've got to depend on somebody else to cook that food for you. And of course, just like everything, if somebody has to prepare it or cook it, you're paying for it, right? It's just like if you buy a block of cheese at your local grocery store, en tu supermercado. If it's pre-cut, if it's been cut by them, it's going to be more expensive per kilo than if you just get the block and you cut it yourself. So same kind of vibes there, you can even, put that in with installing something in your home, right? Plumbing, for example. That is a great skill. If you know about plumbing, you can save yourself tons of money. Okay, you still have to buy whatever you need. I need a new toilet, but if you know how to install it, you are saving on what we call labor. And labor is mano de obra, you say, I believe, labor. which is sometimes more expensive than the actual device that you need to install. So all of these things can help us, save money. And who doesn't like learning things? Like I personally oh, okay. I had a problem with, this, let's say the VCR. We don't use them anymore, but I'm giving you an example. Well, until I start looking into it and playing with it and seeing, troubleshooting, then maybe I don't know how it works. But after a while, then I'm like, oh, yeah, you got to do this. You have to do this, that, or the other, right? So there we go, my amigos. Again, this is a very useful book. It'll come in handy in different situations, not just in the kitchen, but also, hey, next time you go to a concert, for example, or next time you're at the library and you want to be able to talk about a good book that you read, or at a bar, ordering a cocktail. I mean, that sounds like it's something that's really simple. But how would you say then, okay, vamos a ponernos a prueba. How would you say to the bartender, you just ordered a round. Let me give you the scenario. You just ordered a round. And you want to say to the bartender, no me cobres, because in the United States, they're going to charge you right there on the spot, en el momento, right? We don't play that, oh, yeah, luego te busco, me busca. We don't play it like that. So basically, this is where you would say, puedo pagar más tarde. Lo que vienes a decir es, voy a pedir más y en vez de pagarte 8 veces, te pago una vez, right? I mean, it makes sense if you're going to be staying at that eatery or that bar. So what do you say? What do you say to the bartender? It's a simple phrase, but if you don't know it, then you'll say, oh, can we pay later? Okay, you can say that. That's not the way we say it. We'd like to start a tab, please. Now, it's interesting because when you're sitting at a table, you don't say, may we have the tab, please? Normally, you'd say, may we have the bill or the check, right? The British say bill, the Americans say check. La cuenta, la dolorosa, right? What's the damage? We say la dolorosa. ¿Cuáles son los daños? But at a bar, we call it a tab, a bar tab. So what you're saying there is you're saying, hey, we're going to order another round, maybe another 2 rounds. Maybe we're going to order some food. We're not done ordering yet. Now, usually what will happen in that point is they'll take your credit card. Okay, they'll take it. They won't charge anything on it, but they'll keep it almost like a collateral, right? So you don't disappear. And you do a dine and dash, as we call it. You call it un simpa. We say tomar a dine, que es cenar, comer, and dash, which means correr, which it also makes sense in English. I love how succinct it is in Spanish, though. Un simpa. Sin pagar. Hey, it makes all the sense in the world. So we'd like to start a tab, please. Or could we start a tab? And then again, the bartender usually will grab your card. Basically, what they usually do, they'll take your credit card. They'll put it in a glass behind the bar where no one can reach it except them. And they'll put your tab. So they'll print it. So they always have the latest copy. No, so every time you order, okay, 3 more, they'll take the old one, throw it in the garbage, and leave it there. And this way, when you're ready to pay the tab, you're all set. They've got your check and your credit card. Now, you don't have to pay with the credit card. Obviously, you can pay in cash. That's up to you. Again, the credit card would be just a collateral. Well, you never know. You've got hundreds of people in there. Not everybody is a good person like us. Right. For example, I would never do something like that. It's, I may think the prices are unfair, but again, that's not the waiter's part, because you know who ends up paying if you do a walkout or a dine and dash? The server or the bartender. That's right. The restaurant makes them pay. So you're not screwing it. You're not sticking it to the man. A la empresa grande, no se lo estás metiendo a ellos. You're sticking it to the worker in that case. So anytime you think about doing something like that, just remember this: the worker is probably just as pissed off as you are. All right, let's take a look. We're going to listen to a little excerpt from English Everywhere, and we are going to the kitchen. English Everywhere.
right. Well, if you can't take the heat, then stay out of the kitchen. That's right. Si no puedes con la presión, lárgate de la cocina. Es una expresión que usamos en inglés cuando alguien se empieza a quejar de una situación. Dice, if you can't take the heat, si no puedes aguantar el calor, fuera de la cocina. Y significa, si no puedes con la presión, lárgate, porque aquí no pintas nada. All right, well, today we're going into the kitchen. Nos vamos a la cocina. Y como mi cocina no tiene muchas cosas, yo tengo cerveza, fuet y 3 cosas más. Nos vamos a casa de mi amiga Leila, que tiene la nevera repleta. She has got a full fridge, tons of food, all kinds of stuff, fresh produce, poultry, fish, cereal. You've got the 4 food groups, don't you?
That's right.
Well, Layla is an awesome chef. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Layla Chapoy. What's up, Layla?
Hey, hello. How are you?
Okay, great. I'm hungry. I heard you were cooking up a storm, cocinando a tope aquí. Is that true?
That's right. That's my way to tone down after a long day.
Nice. I like that one. To tone down, to wind down. Literalmente, to wind up es darle cuerda. Entonces, to wind down is quitarle. So you relax. Now, a lot of people say to me, I don't like cooking. It's the worst. Blah, blah. But for me, cooking is relaxing. It's almost zen. Like, would you agree?
Totally. This is what I do. Okay, this is my little ritual. I get home from work. I put down my things. I change my clothes. I wash my hands. I go into the kitchen. I crank up some good music and I start cooking away.
Oh, wow. Sounds lovely. Now, what are you making for us today?
Well, I thought I'd make some lasagna for you.
Oh, lasagna. But we don't want bad lasagna, malasagna. All right, bad joke, malasagna, bad. Okay, never mind. All right, well, so lasagna is your specialty dish. Is that true?
Well, it's one of my specialty dishes, yes.
Now, I know that you get this cooking bug, este bicho, este mono, como decimos, this cooking bug from someone in your family. And I know that woman, and that's your mom, Consuelo. Hi, Consuelo.
That's right. Hi, Mom.
All right. So now tell me this, and I've eaten. Consuelo, is there a genre, or a kind of food that Consuelo doesn't make? She makes Thai food. She makes Japanese food. She makes Italian food. She makes Spanish food. She makes everything. Is there any kind of food that your mother doesn't know how to make?
No. She can make any kind of food. Now she's really gotten into. We went to Morocco last year together. I went with my mom and my dad, and she's really into Moroccan food now, making Moroccan pastries,
Yum.
different types of couscous, all kinds of different things.
Wow, I'm hungry now. So you're following in her footsteps.
That's right. Well, she taught me. She taught me the art of cooking, and she taught me the passion. And also, well, I like to eat well. And if you like to eat well, there's nothing better than cooking whatever you feel like eating.
All right. Awesome stuff. Awesome. So cooking, I mean, we need to eat, so it's a necessity. So we might as well, ya que estamos, we might as well have fun and eat a lot of good food. Now, where do you go shopping? Do you usually get your stuff at a market, at a big supermarket, or I guess it depends on the product? Where do you do your shopping, your grocery shopping?
Okay, that's a good question. My mom, I kind of got this from her. I have different places. So I go to the butchers to get my meat and poultry.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the fruit vendor to get all the fruit and veggies. And then I go to the fishmongers to get fresh fish.
Oh, wow. I mean, can I tell you something? I'm hungry now. So you always cook with fresh ingredients.
Always. If the ingredients, like my mom always says, if the ingredients are top quality, your food will be top quality.
Oh, that sounds great. Now, I don't know about you, but I am hungry. You got me hungry. What can I say?
Hungry? I am drooling. I do it to myself. I gotta say, I do it to myself. Talking about having some drinks, starting a tab. It's too early to be at a bar. Well, it's never too early to do some grocery shopping. Yeah, I know it sounds like groserías, but it's comestibles. All right, well, folks, we'll take a look at some of the vocabulary. We heard some really native expressions in there, and we'll also learn some more as the expression goes, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Esto no es para todos. Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we've got tons of stuff to cover. So if I were y'all, you all, eso es muy sureño. If I were y'all, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Now stick around. Yeehaw! Welcome back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, now I've got official confirmation here. I already told you guys our next Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. Mark your calendars if you haven't. It's February 3rd. That's right, February 3rd. And it's going to be hosted by Fitz, the host of No Excuses, also the head of our teacher training program. Definitely a very important cog in the Vaughn wheel. You know the word cog? C-O-G, parte de la maquinaria. Engranaje. He's a very important cog. C-O-G. And if you guys know the show, speaking of pop culture, The Jetsons, La Familia del Futuro. Well, George Jetson worked for Cogsley's Cogs. Remember his boss was called Cogsley? Well, the company was Cogsley's Cogs. Y hacían engranajes, right? But we also use it, you know, in the figurative sense, like eslabón de la cadena, right? A cog in the wheel, a cog in the machine. Es un palabrón, si no lo sabías. Cortita, pero bueno saberlo. Cog. And if, again, you watched The Jetsons as a kid, as I did religiously. In fact, I remember they had on the Flintstones, los picapiedra, que Flint es la piedra de un mechero. So they had the Flintstones, the family of the past, and then right after it, the Jetsons, the family of the future. You got to say, folks, hats off. I know Disney, Warner Brothers, but what about Hanna-Barbera? Wow. Man, I can't imagine my childhood without Hanna-Barbera. Flintstones, Scooby-Doo. There's another one. Wow. Even my daughter watches Scooby-Doo. And she watches some of the new ones, but she also enjoys the older ones too. The ones from the 70s and 80s. That's the mark of a true hit. It's like one of our neighbors, we asked him, we said, what was your favorite thing that you got from the Reyes Magos? And he said, Hot Wheels. And I said, you know, some things really are timeless. I mean, Scooby-Doo, still popular. People still know who Scooby-Doo is. Hot Wheels, those, you know, little collectible cars, still popular. Vaughn Radio, hey, there's another thing that is timeless. All right, let's get right back into things. I'm going to give you the Say What soundbite right now for the second time, and we'll see if you guys can make some sense of it. Again, it's going to be a little bit tougher than the ones we've been looking at recently, you know, since we've been back, but I know you guys can handle it. Here it is for the second time.
Loneliness, that's the bottom line. I was never happy as a child. Christmas, Ted, what does that mean to you? For me, it was a living hell. You know, it's like to fall in the mud and get kicked in the head by an iron boot.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the Shit. That's right, my amigos. This book is the shit is available at Von Tienda. But today we're taking a look at English everywhere. I've got a copy, un ejemplar. I've got a copy in my hands right now. So before we get going and looking at your answers over here, let's warm up a little bit and see how much you know about this very common room that everybody has in their house. Okay, you might have 1 or 2 bedrooms, maybe 3 or 4, but everybody's got a kitchen, right? You might have 2 bathrooms instead of 1, okay, but everybody's got at least 1 kitchen. If you've got 2 kitchens, wow. Hey, you never know. My uncle, when he lived in Atlanta, he had a kitchen on each floor of his house. So that was kind of cool. I remember I had my own kitchen when I went to visit him. All right, let's see what we've got here. We already looked at the expression, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. Aquí hay presión. Viene a decir que esto no es para todos públicos, right? All right, let's see. How would you say, mételo en el horno? Put it in the oven. No, oven. No decimos oven. Es un error muy común. Oven. Put it in the oven. And what does it mean then if I say she's got a bun in the oven? Tiene un panecillo en el horno. Está embarazada. Yeah, did you know that one? She's got a bun in the oven. Pero lo importante aquí no es la expresión ni el uso literal. It's the pronunciation. If I had a nickel for every time I've heard oven, y lo entiendo perfectamente, hay una O. En un mundo lógico se diría oven, pero no es un mundo lógico, es inglés. Oven. Say it 20 times hasta que te suene raro decir oven. Okay? All right, the next one. Microondas. Microwave. Now, I know what you're thinking, pero en español lleva S, en inglés no. Unless you're talking about más de uno. She has 2 microwaves. Pero si no es a microwave, and you know it from a song too. We've got the in-store microwave oven, custom kitchen delivery. We got the movies, refrigerator. We got the movies, color TV. That's right. Sure. Appliances. We said that word before. Electrodomésticos. All right, vitro. Vitrocerámica, you say, or vitro. Stove. Stove. That's right. So to put something on the stove, y cada parte, como hay normalmente cuatro, is the burner, right? The expression to put something on the back burner, I think we looked at this recently. Oh, I looked at it with a student in class yesterday. That's what it was. So to put something on the back burner is to take away priority from it, right? Okay, esto ya no es tan importante. Tengo que concentrarme en lo otro. So I've got to put the other thing on the back burner because right now I have bigger fish to fry. Otra expresión que viene de la cocina. Tengo peces más gordos que freír. Creo que queda clarísimo. O sea, no tengo tiempo para esto. Tengo otras prioridades. Temas más gordos, right? I've got bigger fish to fry. I think you all know the utensils. Let's look at all the utensils. Cuchara, spoon, tenedor, fork. Okay, cuchillos, en plural. Knives, right? La F se convierte en V, knives. And then you've got a spork. A spork is a spoon fork, the ones they give you sometimes when you get a fruit salad. ¿Te suena fruit salad, ensalada de fruta? You say Macedonia. Fruit salad makes sense. Una ensalada de fruta, right? So you've got your utensils, right? Or silverware, se dice también. Silverware, utensils. Silverware, normalmente si pienso en silverware, pienso en la buena, la que sacas para, la Navidad. Like your fine china. ¿Qué? ¿Qué tiene que ver China con esto? Well, China, when we say the word China, sometimes it means China, the country, and sometimes it means fine porcelain, porcelana fina de China. Okay? Isn't that funny? That's how the world was flipped upside down. Back then, when you said, oh, he has fine China, and now when you think of things that come from China, you don't think they're too fine, right? You think of Temu or whatever, one of these AliExpress things. All right, let's see, sacacorchos. Maybe you want to have some wine. Well, you're going to need a cork screw. When a cork is how you say, siempre se me olvida esta palabra, el corcho. Is how you say the cork. And cork is where Fitz is from, the host of our upcoming trivia night. So a cork screw makes sense because you screw it and you uncork the bottle. Okay, cork. What about sartén? Frying pan or pan? Que es diferente que olla. Olla is pot, right? Pots and pans. Pans are the more flat ones and pots are the deeper ones. Pots and pans. It reminds me of another expression. That's the pot calling the kettle black. Dijo la sartén al cazo. Right? That's the pot calling the kettle black. Okay, colador. Ooh. Now we're getting into some... Because fork, debería saber fork and spoon. Pero colador? Strainer. That's right. Right? We got a strainer because I'm making some spaghetti. So after it boils, I'll take it off the burner and I'll dump it into the strainer and I'll strain it. ¿Ves? Ahí está el verbo. Let's see. Tenacillas, pinzas. These are really important, especially if you need to flip something and you need precision. I love these. In fact, I bought another one because when there's a dirty one, I'm like, I need these because, let's say you're making sausages or making anything, you really have complete control over how you place something to be cooked, right? Well, we call them tongs. 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 Just be careful. If you add an H in there, it's thongs. And that's tangas. Hey, very different. Very, very different. Batidora. Well, what does a batidora do? It blends things. Mezclar, blend. Pero mezclar en una cosa homógena is blend. If I had to look at what's the difference between mixing and blending. Y luego remover como un café, un té. How do we say that? It's not remove. It's a false friend. It's to stir. To stir. Also, la batidora no eléctrica. Y ahí sacamos el verbo también. A whisk. And what do you do with a whisk? You whisk the eggs, or you whisk the batter. There's another one. Batter is masa, pero la líquida. Dough es masa, pero la que es más constante, que es más dura. All right? So those are some words. I imagine you knew most of them. Also, we've got a lot of homophones in the kitchen. Tons of them. Yeah. All right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you the word that is not the kitchen one, and you tell me what the kitchen one is. All right? So the first one is tiempo, como la hora. Right? In English, it's time. So there's another word that sounds like time. I know you know the word time. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. What word sounds like that? You say tomillo. Time. Yeah, it's a homophone. Y se escribe T-H-Y-M-E. Thime. Pero se pronuncia time. I haven't got time to chop the thyme. No tengo tiempo para picar el tomillo. All right, the next one. Muscles. Músculos, but what else can it mean if you don't see it written? Again, they're not spelt the same, but they sound exactly the same, like the homophones we always look at here on the show. All right, muscles. Músculos, and if you spell it with two S's, it is mejillones. Mejillones. All right, the next one. Roll, papel. Un papel. I think he's playing a role. Está haciendo un papel. Well, roll, eso es role. El otro, R-O-L-L, es un panecillo. Right? So, roll. Roll. The next one. Es un número. 3,1. I forget the number. You say P. In English, we call it pie. Come on, that's an easy one. American pie. Right? Una torta de estas o una tarta de estas. And the last one, frutas del bosque. You have different ways to say these too. Bayas? Bayas? Okay. So the word is berry. What word sounds like berry? And don't you dare tell me berry, berry angry. Bury, enterrar. Enterrar. I always mix up enterrar and enterrar. Okay? So there you go, my amigos. I mean, there's more stuff here, too. I've got idiomatic expressions. Like, what's cooking? You say that. ¿Qué se cuece? What's cooking? Y me encanta cuando ponemos what's cooking, good looking. What's cooking, good looking. All right, here's what I want from you. Number one, ¿te gustaría que preparase café? ¿Te gustaría que preparase? I'm looking for a specific verb here that we use with coffee. Se usa con café, específicamente. You can say to prepare some coffee, but there's another way. Let's see if you know the verb I'm looking for. Because you can say make, you can say prepare coffee, but there's another one that's even more specific. So, number one, ¿te gustaría que preparase café? That's the first one in today's pop quiz. Number two, I want you to use, they said, productos agrícolas. So fresh stuff, you know? So that's anything like, fresh meat, fresh vegetables and fruit. All right, that's number two. You can use it in your own context. Why not? This way you practice. And the third one, and this is one I didn't know in Spanish until a friend of mine owned a shop where they make them. Yo aprendí así, pero nunca sabía la palabra. La palabra es delantal. Okay, it's something that you wear in the kitchen to protect your clothing so you don't get dirty. All right, so there you go. Those are your three challenges in today's pop quiz. As I said, we're going to the kitchen for today's vocabulary. Number one, ¿te gustaría que preparase café? Number two, use the word productos agrícolas in English. It was in the audio. And number three, delantal. Delantal. Use it in context as well. Maybe you use one. Maybe you never use one. Okay. A couple other things we've got there. We've got to follow in someone's footsteps. I said to Layla, está siguiendo el camino de otro, lo que hizo otro. De tal palo, tal astilla. It's another way of saying, how do we say that? You're a chip off the old block. Nosotros lo usamos pensando en la escultura. Right? A chip es un trocito off the old block, de mármol. Marble. We say marble for mármol. So you're a chip off the old block. You're following in your mother's footsteps because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. All right? Also, we saw the word butcher. I don't know why, but a lot of people say butcher. Incorrectly so. So that's one, I think it's like the Ashton Kutcher. It's Ashton Kutcher goes to the butcher. Ahí lo tienes. Si te acuerdas, o sea, es una U. No es una A. We also looked at the word poultry. Poultry is aves de coral, right? You also have productos lácteos. How do we say that? Some people have an intolerance to these kind of products. We call it dairy products. Dairy. Okay, that's milk, yogurt, cream cheese, cheeses, things like that. All right, let's see what you guys came up with. We'll go over here to our chat room and see if we've got some people participating. There's Grace Valrol, ready to rock and roll. And she says, morning show with no namers. Morning to you, Grace. Great to have you on board. There's lovely Laura. She says, good morning. Lovely show with no namers. Let's get some oomph. Buenísima palabra. Energía, ganas. Let's get some oomph from our favorite teacher and make the most of these 2 magical hours we can spend together. I second the motion, Laura. And thank you. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. You just made me smile. I appreciate that. There's Born to Iron Man. Do we have a Holy Trinity? Chris, Laura, and Born to Iron Man, 3 superstar students. Kicking ass. I love it. Guys, the bar is set very high today. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Chris has something to say about our Say What soundbite. She says, I heard an American man who's telling a crazy story, so to speak, about his childhood, so to speak. Como quien dice, por decirlo así. Which seems to have been a living hell. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A living hell. It looks like, o mejor, it sounds like porque lo has oído, or it seems like que vale para cualquiera. Okay? So it seems like someone hit him with an iron boot. Yeah, that does not sound really fun. Excellent job. Good ear, Chris. Excellent. All right, let's see. Laura says, I heard an excerpt from an American spoof, great word there, spoof, parody, in which a man is reminiscing about his childhood, correct? Which seems to have been quite harsh. Absolutely. Great vocabulary. Harsh, duro. Ooh. Right? Severo. Harsh. Yeah, definitely. That's a perfect word for the situation, Laura. Let's see, German, what's up, buddy? Good morning to you. Mexico in the house. And German says, morning, guys. What's with Scooby-Doo, AA? I was just watching Archie and his weird mysteries. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, well, Scooby-Doo, it's one of those things I think that's timeless, you know? Even the song, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We've got some work to do now. We can count on you. Scooby-Doo, you're ready and you're willing. And what do you rhyme with ready and willing? Gotta catch that villain. You gotta catch that villain. I don't remember the order. And I say, Villano, you're ready and you're willing. You know we got a mystery to solve the scoop. I forget the lyrics there, but my daughter knows them. And in fact, she told me with the new Scooby-Doo, because they always do that. They do new versions of the classics because they can't think of any new ideas, it seems. And she said every time they put on the new song, the new theme song, La música de cabecilla de entrada, she's like, Dad, why did they change it? It was awesome. I couldn't agree more. No podría estar más de acuerdo. Yeah, because now it's like it's just like a normal music. It's like part of what made Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is the music. Same thing with the Flintstones. Yabba dabba doo. Right? All of these songs, all of these shows, the music was a key part. And in fact, a lot of them, they were recorded by like live orchestras, right? Era una orquesta. Now they probably make it with AI or use a computer, but back then you would have a cartoon, you'd have a 50-piece orchestra making the music of that cartoon. And that's what we call artistry. Folks, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. We are halfway through the show. We've got a lot of stuff to cover when we come back. So if I were y'all, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is the second half of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Thank you so much for joining us today and every day. It's always a pleasure to have such eager students on board. Don't forget about all the other amazing programs you can catch here on Vaughn Radio. The Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams. Fits and No Excuses. Speaking with Confidence with Ale. The Pro Bow Show. I said the Lunchtime Show. That's the one. The Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams. Speak English with Ruby. Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. The Salad with Dave Boyce. Kyle Miller and Drive Time. Chris Frank in his program, Frankly Speaking. So yeah, what I've gathered, lo que me he enterado de lo que yo sepa aquí, Fitz is hosting in February and Chris Frank will host in March. I'm talking about the Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. So hope you guys can make it. It's usually the first Tuesday of every month. So hope to see you there. Also, you got Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. And the one and only, the man with the plan, Richard Vaughn, and his master class, Richard Vaughn Live. Download the free Vaughn Radio app and you can learn English with us on the go. There's no wrong place to learn a little bit of English. All right, amigos, let's kick things off in the second half of the show with Homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right. That's right, amigos. Let's take a look at our words today. The first word is yema. Yema. Yeah, it's the yellow part of an egg. Now, it's funny because the white part, which isn't really white, it's clear until you cook it. It's called the egg whites. Yeah. So that part is pretty easy. Okay, use 2 egg whites in the recipe, in la receta, egg white. But I'm not looking for that part. I'm looking for the part that looks like the sun. De hecho, cuando se pide huevos fritos, we say sunny side up. El lado soleado hacia arriba. Sunny side up. Oh, that's I love omelets. I love scrambled eggs, right? Scrambled is revuelto. But there's nothing like a nice sunny side up fried egg. So you can say a fried egg, but then, some places they'll flip it, right? And cook that yema a little bit, but not me. In fact, I like it even a little bit runny. Runny es que no está cocinado del todo, un poco mocosillo, right? All right, so the first word is yema, okay? Yema de huevo. The second word is yugo, okay? It's a device that attaches animals together. So, hey, we were talking about agriculture before. It's also used on a plane, okay? Columna de control. So if you've ever seen a movie, such as Airplane, for example, aterriza como puedas. No, lo tiene en la mano, eso es lo que tiene en la mano cuando está guiando el avión. That is columna de control. Okay, and if you think about it, parece un yugo. So if you really, si le das la vuelta, if you flip it over, it's the same exact thing, right? And it can also mean la carga, right? Yugo en ese sentido, la carga. Okay, so there you go, my amigos. Those are your 2 words. A, are you familiar with the words? B, do they sound exactly the same? And without context, I wouldn't know which one you were talking about. The first word, again, yema de huevo. The second word, yugo, también columna de control de un avión, también la carga barra yugo, in the figurative sense of the word. So there you go, folks. Those are your 2 words. Let's see what you come up with. Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. Here it is for the 3rd time.
Loneliness, that's the bottom line. I was never happy as a child. Christmas, Ted, what does that mean to you? For me, it was a living hell. You know what it's like to fall in the mud and get kicked in the head by an iron boot.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughn Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughn Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughn Town. That's right, folks. If you'd like more information about Vaughan Town, about our master's program, or any of the amazing initiatives we've got at Vaughan, all you have to do is go over to grupovaughan.com. Also, you can get some information by following us on social media. We're on all the different platforms, and you've got offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, and Zaragoza. So you've got really amazing options. There's nothing like meeting us in person. So if you live in one of those cities, please stop by. If you don't and you'd like more information or just want to introduce yourself, you can always reach out on social media. You can send us a direct message or a private message, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's see what we've got over here. I'm going to go over to our virtual classroom, and we've got a few people participating in our pop quiz. Let's check those answers first, and then we'll go over to our homophone section. All right, Laura. Laura says, would you like me to brew some coffee? Absolutely. That was the word I was looking for. Elaborar, preparar. Other things we brew, tea. I'm going to brew some coffee. I'm going to brew some tea. Now, we also use it with beer, but you don't normally brew beer at home. Well, some people do. But the difference would be you brew coffee, you brew tea. The beer that you're drinking was brewed at a brewery. Okay, so that's what I mean. We don't, I'm going to get you, would you like a beer? Ya no usamos el brew, a no ser que tú lo has elaborado. Okay, so think of it that way. You have to do something in the process for it to be brewed. And a lot of times you'll see fresh brewed iced tea, recién elaborado, hecho. So the word brew too is a noun, es una cerveza. I bet you want a brew, right? So, apuesto que tú quieres una cerveza, a brew, or a brewski. A veces para darle un poco de wink, wink, de guiño. You say, you want a brewski? Oh man, I'd love a brewski right now. So brew. Excellent, Laura. All right, the next one. She says, I usually eat a lot of produce. Excellent. Just be careful. Produce is what I do with the show. I produce the show, right? Produce. But produce es la misma palabra, pero dependiendo si estamos hablando de un verbo, producir, to produce, or cosas frescas, produce. Okay? So excellent job there. I usually eat a lot of produce. I'm sure your body thanks you, Laura. There's nothing like eating produce and staying away from, evitando, those ultra-processed foods, which it seems like there are more of those than ever. Everywhere you look, you know, if you've got 100 things, 50 or more are hyper-processed. And, well, that stinks. That stinks. We all know that there's nothing like natural, fresh produce. All right, let's see. And even produce, you got to wash it off good, right? Pesticides, things like that. So you're never really safe, right? Are you? Unless you trust big food. Do you trust big food? Really? You trust Coca-Cola and these companies? Oh, yeah. I don't think their health, your health is their number one concern. I think their number one concern is the bottom line. The bottom line means el dinero, la pasta, lo más importante. So let's see. And the last one, Laura, she says, I always wear an apron while I'm cooking. You know what? I need to. I refuse to wear an apron, me niego, and then I go to my wife and say, honey, I've got grease stains all over my shirt, my new shirt. And she's like, well, it's not a good idea to cook wearing new clothes. And if you're going to cook without an apron, at least put on an old shirt, because grease splatters. El verbo splatter, salpicar. It's par for the course, as you know the expression. So the word is apron. No apron, sino apron. Excellent job, Laura. Chris Valrol says, Would you like me to brew some coffee? Sure, I'll take some. The second one, I usually buy produce once a week. Great. And the last one, I don't usually wear an apron. Although it's maybe it's a good idea. Yeah, Chris, I'm like you. I'm convinced it's a great idea, but I don't even know. I have a couple aprons, and I don't even know where they are right now. So, yeah, I guess I'll never learn. All right, excellent job, ladies. Let's take a look at our homophones over here. German is the first one to participate, and he gives us the two words, and he says they are homophones. Chris Valrol agrees. Laura also agrees. And let's see. German says, yolk can become your yoke when it's not properly cooked. This is no joke. Tu carga. So yolk. Now, the first word is yolk with an L, but it's just like folks. That's all, folks. Eso es todo, amigos. That's all, folks. La L no lo pronunciamos. Half, otra L que no pronunciamos. No es half, no es folks. Pues lo mismo, yolk, right? The egg yolk can become your yoke, tu carga, tu lastre, when it's not properly cooked. And this is no joke, which is a word that people usually mispronounce and say yolk. O sea, el error. Muchos españoles a la hora de hablar inglés pronuncian la palabra joke, chiste, como yolk, yugo o yema de huevo. Excellent job to all of you. Chris says, it's not a good idea to wear nice, good clothes in the kitchen. Just in case, keep talcum powder nearby for grease stains. Oh, no, I get the theory, Chris. I totally get it. And I've learned the hard way, como decimos, many times. But I still haven't taken out my apron and put it on. So, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I can show you half of my shirts and hoodies are ruined because, I'm thinking, I'm not going to get splattered by grease. No way. Yeah, right. All right. Well, we've got to keep moving along, folks. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. And right now it's time for your news report.
This is the news report on the show with no name, bringing you the latest breaking news. I'm Alberto Alonso, reporting live.
That's right, folks. All right, I call this story the Snow King Pin. What? The Snow King es el rey de la nieve, ¿no? Pero si pongo Kingpin, si en vez de a king, I say he's a kingpin, un cabecilla. I'll give you an example of a kingpin. El Chapo. Okay? What's the other guy's name? Escobar. They're kingpins. Okay? And it means like a crime boss. Okay? So this story is called The Snow King Pin. The Snow Kingpin. A former Olympic snowboarder runs one of the most violent drug trafficking organizations in the world. A cartel. We looked at that word the other day. You say cartel, we say cartel. And this guy is now facing new charges related to the murder, oh my God, of a federal witness in one of the cases, one of them, because there are many, against him. Okay? So this guy, if you know a little bit about Olympic sports, a winter Olympic athlete, Ryan James Wedding, okay, a Canadian snowboarder. And he basically placed a bounty on the witness's head. Now, witness is testigo, and a bounty is a reward for someone's head. Una recompensa. Yeah. This sounds like the Wild West. We were looking at Fistful of Dollars yesterday. Yeah, so this guy, once an Olympic snowboarder from Canada, placed a bounty on the witness's head because he believed, obviously, that the guy was a snitch and he was going to get him in trouble. A snitch is un chivato. And this guy allegedly runs an international drug trafficking cartel. So he went from being, looked up to by everyone, admirado, to, oh God, wow. Okay, what a turn. Talk about taking a turn for the worse. And he even used a Canadian website to post images of this guy to locate him. So he wasn't very smart about covering his tracks, cubriendo sus huellas. And the witness was fatally shot at a restaurant before he could testify against this former snowboarder turned kingpin. And the charge, murder. Witness tampering, to tamper es intentar manipular, and intimidation, along with money laundering, blanqueo de capitales, and drug trafficking. Wow, sounds like a real catch. Vaya braguetazo. Well, he would have been at one point, right? And there are other people involved in this indictment. Indictment es una palabra graciosa porque tiene una C por medio. Indictment, pero se dice indictment, imputación, acusación, indictment, right? And basically, now the State Department in the United States is looking for this guy. He's on the run, okay, a la fuga. And there is a between $10 million to $15 million reward for information that leads to the arrest or conviction of this guy. Wedding is his last name, Boda. He is currently on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list. And so, yeah, they need to take him out. Now, some people believe that he's being protected right now. That's why they haven't caught him. He's being protected by some cartel members in Mexico. And they said he's probably using disguises since he was a well-known person in the sports world. So he might have changed his hair color, maybe even gotten some plastic surgery. And this guy was moving about 60 metric tons of cocaine from Mexico into the United States and eventually into Canada. So right now, 35 people have been indicted. Numerous weapons have been seized, cogidos a la fuerza. And they also recovered $3.2 million in cryptocurrency. And they confiscated $13 million in physical assets, bienes físicos, that they have confiscated. So, yeah, wow. Talk about a downfall, una caída. You were known for being the best, one of the best snowboarders in the world in Salt Lake City in 2002 at the Winter Olympics. And in 2024, you're on the run for attempted murder and a long list of many other crimes. Wow, that is a sad story. And, well, I hope they catch this guy, this snow kingpin. All right, amigos, right now it is time for Life Hacks.
These are the life hacks you need to know.
That's right, folks. Life hacks. All right. Well, we were talking about yolks and egg whites. Well, eggs, they seem like it's a simple thing to make. Eggs. Okay, I'm going to make some eggs. Anybody can do that. Really? How many times have you had eggs where you're like, these are disgusting? These are bland, insípidos, right? Sosos. Or these are runny, or they're overcooked. It's really easy to screw up an egg. Cagarla. right? So I decided we could take a look at today boiling eggs, because when you fry an egg, you look at it and you're like, okay, well, I think another 30 seconds, another minute, right? So, but when you're boiling an egg, it's really difficult to know if that yolk is the way you want it to be. Now, it depends on how you like your yolk. Okay, if you like it very runny, like yours truly, como yo, then you need to boil it for 3 to 4 minutes to boil es hervir. If you're looking for a jammy, custardy consistency or texture, jammy es como mermelada, más como, right, a little bit more like slimier, but jam, custard. Custard is natilla, so it's a little bit that kind of texture. Well, then that's 6 minutes. Okay, you need to boil it for 6 minutes. If you're looking for the classic hard-boiled egg where the yolk is hard, but a little bit creamy, not overcooked either, then you're looking for 8 to 10 minutes. They say that's the perfect one because you get the best of both worlds. You get a little bit of creaminess, but it's also cooked. And if you're looking for ones to make for a salad, or, you need it to be really cooked, you need it to be even chalky, como tiza, then you're going to want to cook it for 12 minutes. Big difference there. So really, it depends on how you enjoy your egg yolks. I would cook mine anywhere from 3 to 4 minutes, but I imagine there are people who like them fully cooked. Well, that's going to be 12 minutes. Now, also, it's good to add them to the boiling water. Don't put them in there beforehand. Wait till the water is boiling, and then cover it. And if you want to peel it easier, because that's another thing, the shell. Sometimes it's hard to peel the shell. A little trick there is an ice bath. That's right, un baño, pero en agua con hielo. That'll stop the cooking process, and it'll make it a lot easier to peel those eggs. So there you go, folks. Hey, and if you ever try out any of these life hacks, let us know how they work for you. And of course, let us know in English. All right, folks, that was your life hacks. We looked at boiled eggs. Hey, reminds me of the idiomatic expression, it all boils down to, se reduce a. Hey, we're learning a lot in the kitchen today. Folks, we've got tons of stuff to cover in the fourth and final part of today's show. We're going to take a look at our Double Trouble section. We've also got our Say What soundbite for the fourth time. We've got, what else? Oh, movies. We've got jokes or yolks. No, jokes. Jokes, famous birthdays, and so much more. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of your daily English extravaganza, the show with no name. Thank you so much for joining us and for all your effort. Keep kicking ass. And remember, you can continue to learn with Ale and all my amigos right after today's show. Just download the free Vaughn Radio app, and you can learn English wherever, whenever. To quote Shakira, whenever we're meant to be together, I'll be here and you'll be there, and that's the deal, my dear. I think it's something like that. I just did a country version. Come over yonder. Well, she does say in that song, I think, you've got me head over heels. Me tienes enamoradísima. You've got me head over heels. If you want to, you can learn from any music. Shakira. Okay, maybe not reggaeton. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they speak English, Spanish, or anything in between there. They make up words, right? Se inventan las palabras. Let's see. K Roller Girl says, but what's the point of aprons? They don't cover the sleeves, so you can get stains on your new shirt sleeves. Yeah. I'll never learn. Chris says, well, you're a smart cookie to continue with the cooking thing. Thank you. Great expression. To be a smart cookie. That's right. And Chris says, that's why our teacher tells us not to wear new clothes for cooking. Our lovely K Roller Girl. Yeah, I know. But again, one thing is knowing it, and one thing is saying it out loud, and another thing is actually doing it. I can't tell you how many shirts I've ruined stupidly. Really. It's just as easy as saying, let me get an old shirt and I'll change and really quickly, and that's it. And it doesn't matter if I splatter some grease on it. But I'll never learn. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. All right, my amigos, we've got a lot to cover, so let's kick things off with a challenge called Double Trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It is today's Double Trouble. Let's see what we've got over here. All right, this one I think is going to be relatively easy. I know we've looked at this idiomatic expression before, so let's see if you know it. Okay, ¿de qué marca es tu coche nuevísimo? No nuevo, nuevísimo. Okay, de fábrica. A lo mejor te ayudo con eso. Okay, I'll give you a little clue. De fábrica, nuevo. Okay? ¿De qué marca es tu coche nuevísimo? All right. There you go, my amigos. As I said, as you always have to, you got to use the same word twice there. I don't think it's too tough, as I said, considering, but we'll see. ¿De qué marca es tu coche nuevísimo? All right, also, I'm going to give you the Say What soundbite for the fourth time. I don't think anybody's gotten it yet, but hey, do the best you can. And if not, we'll take a look at what's being said, where it's from, the accent, and all that jazz. All right, here it is for the fourth and final time.
Loneliness, that's the bottom line. I was never happy as a child. Christmas, Ted, what does that mean to you? For me, it was a living hell. You know what it's like to fall in the mud and get kicked in the head by an iron boot.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, amigos. If you want more information about our masters, about Vaughn Town, about our intensives, Disney Vaughn English on the weekend, or one-to-one classes, video conference classes, whatever it may be you're looking for, we even have courses that are designed for self-study. So that's entirely up to you. Take a gander. It's grupovon.com. Take a gander is another way of saying echa un vistazo. We've got offices in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, and Zaragoza. All right, let's see what we've got over here. We'll see if we've got some people who have figured out today's double trouble. I don't think it was too tough, but we shall see. Let's see. The first person to take a stab at it over here is Laura. And Laura says, what brand is your brand new car? Yes. Now, ¿por qué no hemos dicho which brand? Porque no tenemos una lista. Think of it this way. Like, because I've heard a lot of people say, which is your name? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? Claro, which is your name? Te estoy dando unas opciones. Hey, I have 5 names here. Which one is yours? Right? But if I just ask in general, it's what? Right? Eso es la diferencia entre el what y el which. Right? Which is your favorite fruit? No, what's your favorite fruit? Why? Because you're not giving me options. Now, if you say, which is your favorite, oranges or apples? Ahora me has dado opciones. So which equals options. What is in general, okay, in that context, of course, okay? So what brand is your brand new car? Excellent. Brand new, nuevísimo. Queremos añadir más énfasis, your brand spanking new car, okay? And spanking, to spank is azotar. But in this case, no tiene que ver con azotar. It's a way of saying nuevísimo, right? What brand is your brand new car or your brand spanking new car? All right. Let's see. Chris Valrol, what brand is your brand new car? Excellent. Jaime, what brand is your brand new car? Excellent. Wow. German, what brand is your brand new car? Brandon. Also to brand, I mean, a branding iron, that's where it comes from. Poner tu marca, right? Tu marca. The cows back in the day, we were talking about agriculture before. I don't know if they still do it. They used a branding iron. Y ahí estaba tu marca, tu branding. I know you use the word in Spanish as well. Estamos trabajando el branding, right? La marca. So excellent job to all of you. Brand new. Nuevísimo. Right? Brand new. It's a way of adding emphasis to the word new. Brand new or brand spanking new. Excellent job to Laura, Chris, and Jaime. Also, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have got a winner here in today's Say What soundbite. She knocked it out of the park. Please give it up for Laura. Yeah. Excellent job. Excellent job. All right, we've got to keep moving along here because we've got a lot of stuff to cover, and we're going to the movies. Name that movie. Nice job, Chris. Chris says it reminds me of, me recuerda a, I'm gonna make a brand new start of it in old New York. And if I can make it there, I'm gonna make it. Sing it. Anywhere, it's up to you. New York. New York. Excellent, Chris. Yeah, I'm going to make a brand new start of it. Voy a empezar de nuevo, nuevísimo. All right, let's take a look at today's Name That Movie. As you know, we're always learning from music and movies. A crop dusting plane with a fear of heights lives his dream of competing in a famous around the world aerial race. Okay, there we go. So, a crop dusting plane. Well, here we go with agriculture again. We're talking about produce and agriculture. To crop dust, well, they usually dust the crops with some kind of mosquito or bug repellent, pesticides. Remember we said before, wash your produce really well? There you go. That's right. So it's the spraying of pesticides. The word crop is cosecha, and dust es espolvorar, I think you say is the word, right? So a crop dusting plane is a plane that flies over agricultural areas and sprays pesticides. It fumigates. ¿Te suena? Fumigar, to fumigate. So crop dusting is how they would call this, all right? A crop dusting plane with a fear of heights, con vértigo, right? Lives his dream, vive su sueño of competir, in a famous around the world, alrededor del mundo, aerial race, carrera por los aires. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner. It's Chris Valrol. Great job, movie queen. And the movie is called Planes. That's right. Well, you remember Cars by Pixar? It did so well that they said, well, we got to do one of these with planes too. I imagine. I can imagine the meeting like, how much did we make with Cars? Oh, wow. Okay, well, where are we going next? Trucks? Nah, trucks are too similar to cars. What about planes? That's brilliant. And I'm sure they made a nice chunk of cash from this one as well. In fact, look at this. From above the world of cars, Disney's planes. So they directly on the cover of it have used cars to advertise planes, the success of Cars, right? And, well, it's a movie that I've seen. My daughter and I have seen it. We've seen all the Disney Pixar ones, although recently, I don't know what's been going on, but they're not as good. 2013, they were still making good movies. I don't know what happened after that. Now, what do you call this in Spanish? Is it aviones? O un avión loco cachondo que quiere competir en una carrera. I don't know. Sometimes I I worry about that. All right, let's take a look at the scene that I've chosen from Planes. Bulldog, que es el personaje, his eyes are getting cleaned. Le están limpiando los ojos. And he says, thanks for your help, matey. Gracias por tu ayuda. Matey es amigo. Mate. Mate con una Y al final. Matey. It's like a diminutivo de mate. Amiguito. Thanks for your help, matey. I couldn't have done it without. No podría haberlo hecho sin. And then he sees that it was Dusty who helped him. Okay? Se da cuenta de que fue el otro que le salvó. And Bulldog says, You? You saved me? What did I tell you, boy? ¿Qué te dije yo? Every plane for himself, right? Now, the expression comes from every man for himself. Esto es una batalla campal. Cada uno se tiene que autodefender aquí. No hay equipos. Every man for himself, right? Here they say every plane. You should say every person for themselves, but the old expression was every man for himself. O sea, aquí no hay alianzas ni nada. Cada uno a defenderse y como puede. So here they say every plane for himself, right? And Dusty, crop hopper, salta. I love the name Dusty. Es lo que hace. He dusts the crops. And crop hopper porque da saltitos cuando estas avionetas pequeñas, cuando vuelan. And he goes, where I come from, de donde vengo yo, if you see a plane falling from the sky, and then Bulldog cuts him off. Le interrumpe and says, yes, but this is a competition. Como no hay que ayudar a los demás. Esto es una competición. And he goes, and now you're dead last. So last es último, dead last, ultimísimo. Right? Es ponerle énfasis, tanto como hemos hecho con el brand new. Well, dead last. Man, you weren't last. You were dead last. Es darle énfasis a no último, pero super último. And he goes, and I owe you my life. Te debo mi vida. I owe you my life. And he starts to sob. And to sob is another way of saying to cry profusely. And then Dusty says, Bulldog, are you crying? ¿Te estás llorando? And Bulldog says, I don't cry. I'm British. Thanks, matey. No lloro. Soy británico. Gracias, amigo. So there you go, folks. It's from the movie Planes. Not to be confused with airplane, which is in Spanish, land however you can. Aterriza como puedas. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're joking. Now, these jokes had to do with the Olympics today. Well, I figured since we looked at our Olympic snowboarder, that fell from grace, well, I figured we could take a look at some Olympic jokes. Let's see if you get them. What is a banana's favorite gymnastic move? Okay. What is its favorite move in gymnastics? The answer is splits. You get it? No? No? Well, a banana split, ¿por qué lo llaman así? Did you know? Because they take the banana and they split it, lo dividen, to put the ice cream in the middle, and then you split it with a friend. Lo compartes con un amigo. But wait, still doesn't make sense, though. Well, also in gymnastics, hacer un espagat, is that what you call it? Hacer un spagat. What are you doing? You're splitting your body, right? You're splitting your legs. Partir, dividir. So if you do think about it, it makes all the sense in the world in all of its different incarnations, right? So you get it now? What is a banana's favorite gymnastics move? Splits. All right, I've got another one. Why were the swimming elephants thrown out of or kicked out of, los dos te valen, the Olympics? Why were the swimming elephants thrown out of the Olympics? Because they couldn't keep their trunks up. No? They couldn't keep their trunks up. All right, well, their trunk, tienen una trompa, right? It's called a trunk. Is that what you call it? A trompa, a trunk? So no podían mantener las trompas en el aire, but also your trunks are your swimming trunks, tu bañador. They couldn't keep their trunks up. No podían mantener los bañadores arriba. Why were the swimming elephants thrown out of the Olympics? Because they couldn't keep their trunks up. All right, folks, it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. All right, the first person that was born today in our famous birthday section, born in 1954. That's right, born in 1954. And what did he do? ¿A qué se dedicaba o a qué se dedica? Well, he's a South African singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer. Okay. He was a member of the band Yes, very famous band with a lot of huge hits. One of the most famous, Owner of a Lonely Heart, Owner of a Lonely Heart. Soy el dueño de un corazón solitario. That's just one of their many awesome songs. He also composed film scores such as Con Air, Armageddon, Remember the Titans, and National Treasure. So aside from his work with Yes, he's also worked in the movie industry as a composer as well. All right, let's see. Number 2, she was born in 1961. She got really famous as Elaine in Seinfeld, but she's been in so many movies. She was in Hannah and Her Sisters, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Deconstructing Harry, A Bug's Life, Planes. Yeah, that's right, Planes, the movie we looked at today. So very, very talented actress, and she's been in the business, man, at least since I was a kid. I've seen her work and in movies and sitcoms, and she does a little bit of everything. One of these actors who continues to work no matter what decade we're in, it seems. Oh, and she was in a series called Veep as well, Vice President, Veep. All right, and last but not least, this actor was born today in 1919, an American actor. He was a TV host as well. He was in the movie Airplane. What? Didn't we mention that movie? Aterriza como puedas? Yeah. He was in the movie Airplane. He played Rex Kramer, the guy that they wake up and they go get because he's got to help Ted Stryker land the plane. But he also hosted one of my favorite programs ever. You can still catch it if you can find it, Unsolved Mysteries. And he has a creepy voice, and the stories are all based on real unsolved crimes and mysteries. If you've never seen it, I remember I used to get nightmares from the show because they're like, this person could be outside of your home right now. And you're like, oh, shit. Oh, my God. He is on the loose. Kind of like our snowboarder in our news report. All right, we've got a winner. Please give it up for Chris Valrol. Number 1, Trevor Rabin. Number 2, Julia Louis Dreyfus. And number 3, Robert Stack. That's right, Roberto Monton. And that's going to bring us over to Airplane. He played Rex Kramer in Airplane, and that was today's Say What soundbite. And this is at the end of the movie when they've already landed the plane, and, well, he just starts to go off on a tangent about his childhood, and nobody's listening. There's nobody in the cockpit. Si os acordáis, al final de la película no hay nadie en la cabina. And he's just talking to nobody. And he goes, loneliness, solitud, right? Loneliness, that's the bottom line. Eso es todo, eso es la idea. I was never happy as a child. Christmas, Ted, what does that mean to you? To me, it was a living hell. That's how we say it, lo peor. Do you know what it's like to fall in the mud, caerte al barro, and get kicked in the head y que te den una patada en la cabeza with an iron boot? Con una bota hecho de hierro. So pretty crazy story about his childhood. Here he is, Rex Kramer, played by Robert Stack in the classic Airplane. Aterriza como puedas.
Loneliness, that's the bottom line. I was never happy as a child. Christmas, Ted, what does that mean to you? For me, it was a living hell. You know what it's like to fall in the mud and get kicked in the head by an iron boot.
All right, amigos, what can I say except amazing job today. Excellent job. Wonderful. Today we're going to take a look at the song Changes by the group Yes. This is a song that came out in 1983. It's an awesome song, and we're taking a look at it, well, because it's the writer's birthday, Trevor Rabin. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Don't forget to send us your question of the week submissions. We look forward to hearing from all of you. Ciao for now.